Imagine standing at the edge of a dark, endless abyss, peering into the unknown. What do you see? What do you feel? For many, the abyss is fear and chaos. For many, the abyss symbolizes the collapse of everything familiar, the destruction of the known world. But what if I told you that understanding this abyss is the key to unlocking your true potential? Stay with me, because at the end of this path, you will discover truths that can change your perception of yourself and the world around you. The final revelation will be the deepest of all. The concept of the abyss has haunted human thought for centuries, from ancient philosophers to modern psychological theories. It symbolizes unknown forces within our psyche. The abyss is also associated with vast uncertainties of existence. Today, we explore not only its meaning but also its impact on our choices, fears, and development. In this deep immersion, you will learn to confront your abyss, harness its power, and emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Let us begin our journey into the psychology of the abyss, a journey promising enlightenment, growth, and perhaps transformation. What is the abyss to nature? It was both literally and figuratively so. The chasm symbolized challenges and truths we prefer to avoid, but the abyss is not just a philosophical abstraction. The abyss is a psychological reality. Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, described a similar concept: the shadow. The shadow includes parts of ourselves that we suppress, reject, or do not acknowledge. There dwell our fears, insecurities, and unconscious desires. Thus, the abyss exists not only outside, but also within each of us. Have you ever faced a situation where it felt like you were sinking into chaos? When life seemed unbearable and clarity unattainable? This is the abyss in action. It is a disturbing void where everything familiar collapses, leaving you alone with uncertainty. But here lies a paradox. The abyss, though frightening, contains hidden power. Jung believed that confronting the shadow is necessary for personal growth. Similarly, looking into the abyss is essential for true self-discovery. By avoiding the abyss, we also avoid the truth contained within it. It is like a mirror that reflects not only our flaws, but also our strength and potential. The question is whether you are ready to look into the abyss and accept its truth to reveal your true self. Are you brave enough to look at one of the most thrilling aspects of the abyss? It has a dual nature, combining destruction and creation in one image. On one hand, the abyss symbolizes annihilation, loss of comfort, identity, and confidence. On the other hand, it is a chance for rebirth and gaining strength through hardship. This duality reflects the life cycle itself. Order is born from chaos, and from order, chaos inevitably arises again. Constant movement and change. Let's turn to another thinker, Søren Kierkegaard, often called the father of existentialism. He wrote about the dizziness of freedom as if standing on the edge of a cliff. For Kierkegaard, the abyss is both a threat and an opportunity. Here we face the weight of choice and the consequences of our freedom. Here is something to think about. How often do you avoid difficult truths or unpleasant situations? What if instead of running away, you decide to face them head-on? The abyss forces us to confront what we fear the most. But it is precisely this that gives a chance for personal growth and development. Let's consider a real example: failure. It is often perceived as falling into an abyss, as the end of the road and defeat, a dark place where we doubt our worth and abilities. However, studying the lives of great innovators, leaders, and thinkers, we find a common trait. They were not afraid of failures, but accepted them. For them, failure was not the end, but a door to new discoveries, strategies, and achievements. Take Thomas Edison as an example. When asked about thousands of failed attempts to create the light bulb, he replied that he had not failed. Edison said he found 10,000 ways not to do it. For him, the abyss of failure was not an emptiness to be avoided. It was a space for exploration and learning. The lesson here is profound. The abyss, if met with courage, becomes a crucible of transformation. It dispels illusions and forces us to confront our essence. In this confrontation, we gain clarity, strength, and purpose. Moving forward, consider: what is the abyss for you? Fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown? How would your life change if you stopped running from it and started facing it head-on? Let me ask you a question to ponder. When was the last time you truly looked into your abyss? What did you see there? The abyss, no matter how deep and complex it seems, is not a force acting in isolation. It interacts with every aspect of our being, choices, and relationships. Ambitions, and even the stories we tell ourselves about who we are also touched by the abyss. To understand its psychology, one must study its impact on these areas of life. This influence is often subtle but transformative. Take fear, one of the primary emotions awakened by the abyss. Fear of the unknown and uncontrollable is natural. However, fear, if left unchecked, becomes a prison. It holds us back from taking risks, exploring new horizons, and becoming who we are meant to be. Psychologist Susan Jeffers, in her book Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, argues that fear should not be eradicated, but accepted. According to Jeffers, it is the step toward fear, not the flight from it, that allows us to grow and thrive in life. Recall a time when fear held you back. Was it fear of failure, rejection, or perhaps fear of success and the responsibilities that come with it? Fears often originate from the abyss, a vast unknown that threatens our sense of control. But what if fear is not a barrier, but a guide? Every fear points to an opportunity for growth, a part of oneself awaiting exploration. This idea is closely linked to the concept of resilience, the ability to adapt and recover. Resilience is the ability to cope with difficulties and bounce back. The abyss tests our resilience, pushing us to the limits and forcing us to understand what we are made of. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, detailed this in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. He observed that even in the deepest suffering, people can find meaning and endure. Those who found meaning in their experiences not only survived, but became stronger. His findings show that the abyss can be a source of profound meaning. and transformation. If we are willing to face the abyss, it becomes a source of strength. In the modern world, the abyss often manifests as existential anxiety, worry about the meaning of life and death. This deep feeling of insecurity is connected to the inevitability of death and the seeming insignificance of our existence in the grand scheme. The universe described by existential philosophers such as Martin Heidegger and Jean-Paul Sartre is not essentially negative. It can serve as an awakening and a reminder to live authentically. We must align our actions with our deepest values. Pause and reflect on your life. Are you living according to what truly matters to you? Or are you immersed in distractions and superficial activities? The abyss forces us to confront these questions, often during crises that are painful but important for reevaluation. If we avoid facing our inner emptiness, we often project it onto others, leading to conflicts, misunderstandings, and unfulfilled relationships. For example, the fear of abandonment can make a person cling too tightly to a partner, inadvertently creating the very distance they fear. On the other hand, the fear of vulnerability can lead to emotional walls that keep others at a distance. The abyss teaches that true connection requires courage. The courage to be seen, to be imperfect, and to accept the imperfections of others, even in the context of ambitions and personal aspirations. Emptiness plays an important role in many people's lives. They chase external achievements, wealth, status, and recognition, thinking it will fill the inner void. But stories about unhappy billionaires and burned-out executives show that external success cannot satisfy our deep desires. Emptiness calls us to look within. It makes us reflect on what truly matters and strive for goals that align with our true selves. Emptiness is part of our journey, not an enemy. Our task is not to conquer emptiness, but to understand it, learn from it, and integrate its lessons into everyday life. It is a constant companion on the path of life. Consider how often you avoid deep life questions. What would you discover if you allowed yourself to fully immerse in emptiness? Emptiness is not just a challenge, it is also a teacher. Its lessons, though accompanied by discomfort and pain, open doors to profound transformations. One of the most important lessons of emptiness is the art of acceptance and surrender. It is the path to inner peace and self-understanding. The concept of surrender is often misunderstood as giving up the fight. But in the context of the abyss, it means letting go of the illusion of control over every aspect of life. Surrender means accepting uncertainty, embracing vulnerability, and trusting the process of growth. To understand surrender, let's consider the natural world. A seed must first crack open in the darkness of the soil before it can sprout and become something greater. This process is not resistance, but submission to conditions. Similarly, when facing the abyss, our instinct is to fight, to resist its pull. But sometimes the strength lies in allowing ourselves to change. For example, people who have experienced a profound loss, a loved one, a dream, or a part of their identity. At first, the abyss of grief seems overwhelming. The temptation is to numb the pain or distract oneself with superficial comforts. But those who stay with the grief and explore its depths find renewed meaning. they emerge with a new sense of purpose and clarity. This does not mean the pain disappears. Rather, it becomes a source of inner strength. The lesson of serene wisdom and strength that the abyss imparts lies in the importance of humility before the vast unknown. We become aware of our limitations and fragility. This humility is not a weakness. On the contrary, it opens the way to deeper connections with oneself, with others, and with the great forces shaping our existence. Remember the great thinkers of history who dared to confront the mysteries of life. Socrates, who acknowledged that true wisdom lies in recognizing one's own ignorance. Or Albert Einstein, who described his perception of the universe as a cosmic, religious feeling. These people embraced the humility that comes with facing the abyss. Thanks to this, they discovered ideas that shaped humanity's understanding of the world and its laws. In psychology, the abyss is connected with the search for the meaning of life. Viktor Frankl noted, "Even in the most difficult circumstances, those who found meaning in their suffering could endure and even thrive." The abyss strips away superficial distractions, forcing us to confront what truly matters. This process of searching for meaning is deeply personal and unique. It cannot be dictated by society or external expectations. Meaning arises from within, from the experience and inner understanding of each person. The willingness to face inner truths, question one's assumptions, and align life with the deepest values is an important step on the path to meaning. For many, this path of seeking meaning is connected with a spiritual or philosophical awakening that occurs through meditation, prayer, or reflection. People who confront the abyss often feel a connection to something greater than themselves, without attachment to traditional religions. This connection is the awareness of the interconnectedness of all existence, a sense of awe and wonder at the beauty and complexity of being. The path through the abyss is not linear, but cyclical. Descent and ascent, loss and rediscovery of oneself again and again. Each encounter with the abyss brings new challenges and opportunities for growth, reflecting the very process of life, constant evolution and discovery. One practical way to connect with the abyss is the practice of mindfulness, developing a state of presence and observation. Mindfulness helps observe fears, thoughts, and emotions without letting them take over consciousness, allowing one to act with clarity and resilience. Let's consider the example of a person's story who managed to pass through the abyss using these principles and find a new meaning in life. A climber facing a dangerous ascent does not look at the entire mountain at once. He takes it step by step, fully focused on each moment. Similarly, when confronted with the abyss, mindfulness helps us stay resilient and move forward with intention and attention to the present. Another way is to embrace creative expression. Art, music, writing, and other forms of creativity provide powerful tools for exploring the abyss. Through these means, we can shape the formless, express emotions and thoughts that might otherwise remain hidden, transforming chaos into something beautiful. Delving deeper into the psychology of the abyss, it becomes clear. Its presence is not a reason for fear, but a call to accept and explore it. This is a reminder of the infinite potential within us, the unexplored territories of the mind and soul waiting to be discovered. The abyss challenges us to grow, to question, and to create. It is both a mirror and a crucible, reflecting who we are and shaping who we can become. Let me leave you with this question to ponder. What could your life look like if you perceived the abyss not as fear, but as an opportunity? Imagine that the unknown is not a threat, but an invitation. How would your choices, relationships, and self-perception change if you embraced the unknown with courage and curiosity? We are approaching the end of our journey into the abyss. It is time to reflect on its true meaning. The abyss is not just a barrier or a danger. This is a gateway, a passage to a deeper understanding of oneself and the world around. But what lies on the other side of the abyss? What do we gain by facing it? And how can we apply the lessons of the abyss in everyday life? One of the deepest gifts of encountering the abyss is the revelation of authenticity. Being authentic means living in harmony with the true self, free from masks and pretenses imposed by society or fear of judgment. The abyss strips away these superficial layers, revealing the core of our essence. This process can be painful, but it is also liberating. Let's consider the story. The phoenix is a mythical bird that must burn in flames to be reborn from its ashen remains. Its rebirth is a powerful metaphor for the journey through the abyss. This metaphor reminds us that destruction and creation are inseparable. The end of one chapter is the beginning of another. Emerging from the abyss, we are not the same, but renewed. We become someone else, renewed, transformed, and more connected to our essence. This transformation is evident in many personal and historical examples. Recall Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, a profound confrontation with the abyss. Instead of despair, he became a leader of reconciliation and hope. His journey through the abyss was not only a personal victory, but also an inspiration to millions of people around the world. The gifts of the abyss are available to each of us. The courage to have difficult conversations, the perseverance to overcome failures, the wisdom to let go of what no longer serves. All these are fruits of interacting with the abyss. The last, and perhaps the most important lesson of the abyss, is to understand that it cannot be conquered once and for all. Life is a series of encounters with the abyss. Each encounter with the abyss brings new challenges and opportunities for personal growth. The goal is not to avoid the abyss, but to develop skills and courage. An important skill is compassion for oneself. When facing fears, doubts, and imperfections, it is necessary to treat oneself with kindness and understanding. Psychologist Kristin Neff identifies 3 components of self-compassion: kindness to oneself, awareness of common humanity, and mindfulness of the present moment. By developing self-compassion, we can face the abyss without judgment and self-criticism, allowing ourselves to grow through this experience. Another skill is the ability to find meaning in difficulties. This is not a denial of pain, but a search for the lessons it teaches us. Viktor Frankl emphasized that suffering ceases to be unbearable when it is filled with meaning, showing that even the darkest moments lead to growth. Finally, the journey through the abyss teaches us the importance of community, support, and mutual aid in overcoming life's challenges. The abyss often feels like a solitary experience, but in reality, we are never alone. By sharing fears, challenges, and successes with others, we create connection and support. Friends, family, mentors, and communities remind us that we are part of something greater. These relationships help us feel grounded and united in difficult times. As we conclude the exploration of the abyss, I invite you to apply its lessons in your life. The next time you face fear or uncertainty, remember, the abyss is not the end. The abyss is a mirror, a teacher, and a catalyst for change. By embracing it, you will unlock your potential, deepen understanding, and strengthen your resilience against hardships. And here is the final question. How will you respond when the abyss calls you next time? Will you turn away or step forward with courage, curiosity, and an open heart? The choice is yours, and in this choice lies your strength. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on the abyss and its significance in our lives.